Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about unity and cohesion in our writing. So, when we talk about unity, we think of the word unified. Does everything go together? Are we united? So, in our writing, we want to ask ourselves, does everything in the paragraph go together? Is it all connected back to our main idea or topic sentence? Check for unity, I want you to follow these instructions. On the next slide, I'll show you a paragraph. Pause the video and give yourself time to read it. You may want to read it more than once. As you're reading, think, what is the main idea of this paragraph? And then ask yourself, does all of this support connect back to the main idea? Or is some of it off topic? Should it come out? All right, I'm going to go to the next slide now. Take a minute to pause the video and read the paragraph. Okay, now that you've read it, think about the main idea. The main idea of this paragraph is there's not one diet that is perfect for everyone. And the reason is because we come from different places and have different lifestyles. So that is the main idea that this author is trying to explain to us, that people need different types of diets because we are all different. So if that's the main idea, are there some sentences or ideas in here that do not connect back to that? Take a minute, pause the video, and check again. All right, so which sentences do not connect back to this main idea? There are a few that I found. They are in red. So here, these sentences, there are different types of rice. Most people eat white rice, but there's also brown rice and wild rice. This starts to get a little bit off topic. We're talking about the different diets people have and why they need different diets. This goes off topic about different types of rice, but it doesn't connect it back to a perfect diet or people needing different diets. Down here, this sentence, everyone should exercise because it has several benefits, like a healthier body and mind. This is giving advice that is not related to the main idea about diet. This paragraph is talking about the food we eat, but this sentence starts to talk about why we should exercise. So this is really off topic. These sentences should come out of this paragraph. So, how do we check for unity? I recommend check for unity after you write your paragraph. If you're like me and like many other writers, you will add sentences into your paragraph that don't connect. It's okay. We all do it. You just want to go back after and take those out and say, maybe this doesn't connect. Unity is important because it makes the paragraph easy to understand and follow for your reader. They don't get sidetracked by these other ideas. They can really stay focused on the main point that you're trying to make. So that is unity. Now we're going to talk about cohesion. So cohesion is how things go together, okay? If your writing is coherent, then it's easy to see how the ideas go together. Sometimes it's obvious to you, yeah, this support connects, but to your reader, it's not always obvious. So you have to make that very, very clear. There are 3 ways to improve cohesion. The first way is probably the easiest. Use transition words. These are words like however, although, in addition, furthermore, on the other hand. These transition words help the reader see if you are connecting ideas or showing opposite ideas in your writing. Another way to improve cohesion is to repeat the main idea and connect your ideas back to that main idea. And the third way, and this is probably the most important way, is add phrases and sentences to show how the support connects to the main idea. You want to make it so clear and obvious to your reader. So I'm going to show you a paragraph again. Pause the video so you can read it. And ask yourself, does this make sense? Do I understand how these ideas go together? Do I see how this support connects back to the main idea? So I'll go to the next slide, pause the video, and read the paragraph. All right, so after reading this paragraph, I had a lot of questions. My first question is about the transition from this first sentence to the second sentence. The media is filled with advertisements for the best and healthiest diet. There is no such thing as a perfect diet. Wait, I'm already confused. Does the author think there's one best and healthiest diet, or do they think that there's no perfect diet? These are two different ideas. So I can add this simple word, however. So this shows that yes, this is true. The media is filled with advertisements for the best diet. However, there is no such thing as a perfect diet. So this tells me, okay, the author thinks there's no such thing as a perfect diet. And now I understand that these are opposite ideas. Okay, my next question was about this part. Humans had different diets depending on where they were from and what food was available. Rice was common in Asia, while grain was common in the Middle East. In cold climates, people grew potatoes and ate a lot of meat. And in warm tropical climates, people ate more fruit. Okay, so this is giving me these great examples about different diets and different places. But why? Why is the author giving me these examples? How does it go back to that main idea that there's no perfect diet? All right, so lots of things have been added. Each body is different, has different dietary needs. So what works for one person may not work for another. Then we added this transition word, for instance. This lets the reader know that you're giving me some specific examples of these different diets in different places. Then, after giving the examples, the author connects it back to the main idea. The people in these different regions got used to the food available. Okay? So now our bodies might react differently to food depending on what our ancestors ate. While milk might help some people grow strong, other people might be allergic to dairy because their ancestors didn't have it. So this is really explaining to me why these different diets in different places matter. Oh, okay, so we ate these different foods, so now that means our bodies use the food differently. Then they added this sentence that really just repeats the main idea. Consequently, beautiful transition word, these people need different diets. So you'll see that these parts that are underlined, this is where the author really repeats the main idea, that we need different diets. The red part that is not underlined is helping to explain that connection. So the reader can see, okay, the connection between the support and the main idea. This is how those go together. Whew, all right. The next part I also have a question about. People have different lifestyles. Some people lift weights. Some people run or bike long distances. Some people walk, and some people don't exercise much. So, how does different lifestyle relate back to different diet? Now, this might seem obvious to you, very clear to you, but you need to make it clear to your reader. So, there are a few things the author did to improve. First, they added some transition words. Also, people have different lifestyles. So this lets the reader know that we are going from one idea about different diets in different areas to this new idea about different lifestyles. This is another reason we need different diets. For instance, again, adding a transition word to show now we are giving specific examples of different lifestyles. In the red, we have an explanation of why do different lifestyles connect to different diets. This affects how many calories you need and what types of food you need. A weightlifter needs more protein, while a long distance runner needs more carbohydrates. Okay. So this is really explaining how does exercise relate to food? This paragraph shows us that connection. If all of these people ate the same diet, they would not all be healthy. So going back to that main idea that a healthy diet is different for every person. This seems simple, but it's pretty hard to add cohesion to paragraphs. All right, so cohesion review. Again, check for cohesion after you write your paragraph. You're going to put your ideas on paper and then go back and check. You always want to answer this question. How does this example support or show my main idea? So I gave this great example, but now I need to explain how it connects back to my topic sentence. You always need to explain that. Number 3, use transition words and full complete sentences to show the connection. A common mistake I see is a lot of students just add tons of transition words. They add a transition word before every sentence. That does not make your writing cohesive. You want to use some transition words, but not too many, or it gets confusing. What you want to focus on, especially at this level, is adding full sentences that help explain the logic of how the ideas connect. So that is my challenge for you, is to really focus on adding these sentences after your examples that help the reader see how that example connects back to the main idea.